Ah yes, it looks like we're about to have a beautiful match versus Nukesploder Vs Technique. Xploder, are you here?
Of course I'm here. What do you think I've been for the past millennium? You know?
I apologize, I had to leave for a little bit, but now I am back. And I am back. Yes, I had to grab a bit of dinner. Don't worry, I'll keep my mic under control while I eat.
Lovely. Let's have a look at where these guys war. Some wacky positions here. Technique playing as the Cyan Protoss down here in the southeasterly region of the map. Not exactly southeast, but southeast enough. Whilst Nukesploder is to the west. It's more west and southwest of the map as well, playing as green Protoss. Nukesploder already laying the smack by saying prepare to get nukes. As we now go into this match, we are going to bring up their productions, and you guys can see at home what they are creating and at what pace. The Nukesploder is already got a pylon and another drone going on, whilst Technique doesn't seem to be, well, having a technique. I don't know, comes down another pylon. That's pylon, sorry. Going down his first, a potential many pylon. And by the looks of things, he also has the early scouting advantage, sending out a scout to a natural expansion in the northwesterly region of the map. And as well as that, he has control. I don't know, I thought he did have control of the zone of the watchtower in the centre. But, at the moment, he must have just went straight through it. When the match actually started up. As we see now, Nukesploder going for one gateway, whilst Technique is going straight in there, making two gateways instead, right next to one another, seeing some early Protoss action, some zealots, and maybe even some lovely zealots. Just brain farted, completely forgot what the name of the units were. It'll come to me when we continue. It's been a while since I've been on Starcraft, so it might be a little bit rusty, which I do apologise for yet again. But I'll give you the badass and most commentary on my planet, as I always do. Because here on the Xploder Challanges, if we're not explosive, well, we're dead in water. Technique has got both of his gateways up and running. He's going to start getting some zealots out of the field, whilst by the looks of things, Nukesploder is doing the exact same by getting some zealots coming out of his one gateway. But he's not just going for the gateway, oh no, he's also getting his cybernetics core, just so that he can get some early upgrades being made and also work on his tech levels so that he can stay up to date and create the heavier units. All well and good so far. And again, this is the early stages, but I can't say that the early stages could be deadly, because the early stages are just as deadly as the late stages. It's just a matter of skill, poise, and patience. The now Technique seems to be doing absolutely nothing with himself, which is very bad, whilst Xploder has a lot of stuff in his way, another gateway, Stalker, and another one, turning one of his into a warp gate that will give him a chance to warp in units. Very effective if you want to warp them in from different regions of the map. So now Nukesploder has an advantage here with the Zealot and Stalker combo. There's a base one flash on over to Technique's side. We can see the Technique, although he does have the gateway advantage at the moment with two gateways over the top, he's just not getting the minerals that he needs in order to produce those units. I vow he has these units on pause, and he's just not making them yet. He's just holding them off, waiting for that perfect moment to get them produced and to get them out there on the field. Just so making sure that a couple of the simulators out so that he can start mining Vespine gas as soon as possible. And as we can see, he's already got his forge, so we can see some early game upgrades to make his units even more epic, whether that be with melee damage, melee defense, or shield capacitors. So keep your eyes on that, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, back in Nuke's space, we can see now that Is still finishing up one of his warp gates, it's just coming down to the close there. Once he's got another drone on production, he's got another stock coming. He's now getting an observer out for that early game stealth detection. And also another pylon to keep him going. While Technique looking very similar now, but we're going for Zealots over anything else. Whilst Nukesploder wants a very diverse, very mixed team with warp gates online. As we can now see, he is warping in quite a few stalkers to make them very deadly and very good. Might potentially be going for an early stalker rush to just go into the side of where the hills are and just flash on over the top of a hill straight into his base. Oh no, here we go. We see Nukesploder's units now moving out to an advanced position here. Just going to keep an eye on where these units are going to go and what he's going to plan on doing. This could be an early hit run tactic just to see what Technique has planned in his base. Or if all goes to shit, we might just see Nukesploder win right here, right now. So we do need to be careful. Now by the looks of things, Nukesploder is thinking the Technique is over here. In fact, it's not. It's very, very close. Very close indeed. This is what Technique is getting stalkers of his own. Not changing his gateways into warp gates just yet though. He's more concentrating on getting his photon cannons and his robotics capability. He's going for the mid-level builds and for the late-level vehicles, and here comes the battle.
Ah, yes. Now this... There is about to be a surprise for Nukesploder. I don't think he realizes of Technique's third expansion or his expansion at the third. So in the event that this base falls, he does have a nexus to fall back to and try to rebuild.
Very true on that matter. Now is Nukesploder going to micro his units into getting rid of those pylons? Yes, he's in. Also making sure the more stalkers come down into the field, ready to deal more damage. Now, if I'm thinking about it, make sure that I take down all the pylons that I can, followed by the drones to make sure that we can't get any more resources than we can, and then following it all up by taking it out. If we do have any leftover resources, we cannot put them anywhere else, or we will put them at a severe advantage and could just leave Nukesploder cleaning up the rest of the base right here, right now. As we can see, Nukesploder has done job to those pylons, so now he's moving out, getting rid of all these drones, which is very sad. Down there and heading them up straight to his nearby expansion, or at least get them to run away to kind of link towards. Oh no, I'm destroyed. Ooh, I don't do anymore.
That is a shame.
Not going to go for that.
He did have... He had a number of probes that, if I believe were microed correctly, a couple could distract Nuke, where a couple would maybe be able to sneak off. Now, I want to say the real time of gameplay here, if Technique is to make a comeback within the game, is for him to rebuild at this third nexus. Not his third nexus, this would be his, expansion, but at his third expansion location. This is an unusual spot for an expansion, however, I do want to say the odds are on Nuke's favor. If Technique is not spotted, or if he is spotted within a short amount of time, he will be overrun very easily.
Very true on that matter. Technique now, all he has are a few drones and his nexus. He has enough minerals to get back into the game, but it is a matter of whether Nukesploder will give him the time of day to just that. Nukesploder wiping up the rest of Technique's base, however, obviously not finishing the job. Now keep an eye on the fact that Nukesploder now has Immortals, the big dangerous tanks of the Protoss. These guys are the ones to look out for, since these guys are very deadly. Now as you can see here, Nukesploder has set up his advancing forces to
I think he's gonna find
a direction towards where he thinks Technique could be, and ironically he's actually sent them to where Technique's nexus is going to be, so we could see the end of this match sooner rather than later, as we see Nukesploder's stalkers coming right up the ramp.
Yes,
and
this is...
take the nexus. It's all over. It is all over.
This is Starcraft 2 Instinct at its finest. Like, when someone plays StarCraft 2 for a long enough time and they know that they've destroyed the enemy's main base and they can't find, where the Nexus is, a good instinct would say, look, 2 to 3 bases upwards, or to the side. And this is where StarCraft 2 instinct for Nukesploder really kicks in, as a positive thing.
Oh yeah. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this last four being completely and utterly destroyed, it is GG, the end of the first match, and Technique has sadly lost. That is 1-0 up to Nukesploder. Very good job, Luke. And we will carry on to the second of this 3-match series. In just a moment, we'll get the map all set up and ready to roll. But before we actually go in, let's have a quick look at what we can see in the statistics of the end of that match. So as we can see in the score summary, Nukesploder was heads over heels when it came to the match compared to Technique. Technique, well, you can see the final scores there. Nukesploder with 34,000 points, whilst Technique was only low in the 12,000 region. Down with the economy breakdown, we can see that Nukesploder was just way better with resources. 61 workers, 1,085 resource collection at the rate that he was going at, and the average unspent resources of 412, whilst Technique had the unspent resources of 379, only had the collection rate of 436, which is way below what Nuke had, and only 27 workers, which just wasn't enough to get the job done. Units wise, Nukesploder, well, completely sacked it. We have 16 structures raised, 29 built, 35 units created overall, with 78 units trained. The Technique had the 29 trained, 8 kills, 8 killed units, 15 structures being built, and sadly, none being raised. Very sad. The build orders as well, they were just very one-sided. Technique and Nukesploder started off pretty similar, but then Technique I thought had a good idea going for the early gateways, but obviously that might not have been a good idea because later down the line Nukesploder just easily caught up with his gateways, turning them into warp gates and just getting those units out before long, even researching the Protoss ground weapons proficiency, whilst even though Technique had just forge out first, sadly no upgrades were being created. When we look at the final graph, we're having a look at the army values, completely out of whack. Resource collection rate, well, there you go. Nukesploder just owned it absolutely completely. Very nicely done for Nukesploder, and we are going to move on to the second match of the series.
Hey Dom, there's something I need to ask you real quick. Is it okay if I can try to look for someone else to record, because I may have to go in a minute? Is that alright?
Yeah, that's fine. We can find a replacement, that's it.
Alright, thank you. I'm going to try to find a replacement now. Stand by.